The Zodiac Killer. The very name struck fear into the hearts of people in the late 1960s and early 1970s. He was a phantom, a shadow, a monster who prowled the streets of the San Francisco Bay Area, leaving death and destruction in his wake. No one knew who he was or when he would strike next. All they knew was that they had to be careful, always looking over their shoulders, never knowing if they were next. At the end of the video, I included an example of one of the Zodiac Killer's codes, as well as its cracked version. The Zodiac Killer was a master of terror, taunting the police and the public with cryptic letters and puzzles, always staying one step ahead of those who sought to bring him to justice. His victims were chosen at random, seemingly without motive or reason, leaving investigators baffled and terrified. The city was gripped with fear, with residents locking their doors and windows at night, afraid to venture out after dark. Even the police were powerless to stop him, despite their best efforts and tireless investigations. The Zodiac Killer seemed to always be one step ahead, always slipping away into the night, leaving behind only his cryptic messages and the bodies of his victims. But it wasn't just the murders themselves that were terrifying. It was the way the Zodiac Killer reveled in the chaos and destruction he caused. He enjoyed watching the city tremble in fear, loved seeing the police struggle to keep up with him. He was a madman, a psychopath who took pleasure in the suffering of others. And yet, despite the horror he inflicted, the Zodiac Killer remained a mystery. No one knew who he was or why he did what he did. He was a faceless monster, a ghost who haunted the streets of San Francisco. The Zodiac Killer's letters were the stuff of nightmares. He would send them to the police and newspapers, taunting them with his crimes and his clever puzzles. He even threatened to kill schoolchildren if his messages were not published. It was a reign of terror that lasted for years, and yet the Zodiac Killer was never caught. He was a master of disguise, always able to blend in with the crowd and never draw attention to himself. He was a chameleon, able to change his appearance at will. The Zodiac Killer's cryptograms were particularly chilling. They seemed to contain clues to his identity, but they were so complex that they remained unsolved for years. The police and the public were obsessed with cracking the code, desperate for any clue that might lead them to the killer. But despite their efforts, the Zodiac Killer remained at large. He continued to send taunting letters and cryptograms, always staying one step ahead of the law. He was a phantom, a shadow, a monster who haunted the city and left its residents living in fear. And so the legend of the Zodiac Killer lives on, a reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the human heart. He may never be caught, he may never be identified, but his legacy will endure, a symbol of the horror and the fascination that he inspired. The Zodiac Killer may be gone, but his legacy lives on, a testament to the power of fear and the enduring mystery of unsolved crimes. The Zodiac Killer's reign of terror eventually came to an end, but not in the way that anyone expected. He simply stopped. His letters and cryptograms stopped coming, and the murders ceased. The city breathed a collective sigh of relief, but the fear and the scars remained. The identity of the Zodiac Killer has remained a mystery to this day, and many theories and suspects have been proposed over the years. But the killer's true identity remains elusive, and it's likely that the truth will never be known. The Zodiac Killer has become a cultural phenomenon, inspiring books, movies, and TV shows. But the horror and the fascination that he inspires remain just as strong today as they did decades ago. There is something uniquely terrifying about the Zodiac Killer's crimes, the randomness of his attacks, the cryptic clues and puzzles, the sheer brutality of his murders. All of these factors combine to create a sense of horror and helplessness that still resonates today. The Zodiac Killer was a master of terror, a creature of darkness who left a trail of death and destruction in his wake. And though he may be gone, his legacy lives on, a chilling reminder of the evil that can lurk within the human heart. In the end, the Zodiac Killer remains an enigma, a mystery that may never be fully solved, but his impact on the world of true crime and popular culture will endure, a testament to the power of fear and the enduring fascination with the unknown. So beware, for the shadow of the Zodiac Killer still looms over us, a specter of horror and a reminder of the darkness that can lie within us all. As I said, the 340 cipher is a cryptogram sent by the infamous Zodiac Killer in one of his letters to the media in 1969. It is called 340 because it contains 340 characters, including a mix of letters, symbols, and other characters. The code had remained unsolved for decades and was considered one of the most complex codes ever created by the Zodiac Killer. It was only solved in December 2020 by a team of codebreakers led by David Oranchak, a software developer from Virginia. The code is believed to contain a message from the Zodiac Killer, who used the cryptogram to taunt the authorities and the media, boasting about his crimes and challenging them to catch him. A 340 cipher was considered one of the most challenging unsolved ciphers in modern history, as it contained a mix of characters, including symbols and other unusual characters, making it difficult to decipher. The code's cracking was a significant breakthrough in the Zodiac Killer case and provides new insight into the twisted mind of one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. The Zodiac Killer's true identity remains a mystery, but the cracking of the 340 cipher has brought renewed hope that one day a killer may finally be brought to justice. Thanks for tuning into Sinister Crime Lab. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more intriguing true crime cases, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more spine-chilling content.